What's up, everybody? Grid Appreciation Week, man. 1 year since the vision came in place. Dope shit. Oh, my man Fang's in the building. Shouts to Fang. There's always a vision of mine, man, to just you know, have a place where people can be able to like build together. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very big on team. I grew up playing basketball, being a part of teams, and it was always beneficial to just be a part of a team. And when I started podcasting back in 2020, um, you know, out of just like sheer randomness, met a whole bunch of people on the podcasting circuit, like Fan Podcasts, Ryan Flowers, Bryson Carver, Can Fan. I remember Can Fan when they only had like 5 subs. You know what I'm saying? But they did their show the same way they're doing their show now. Nothing changed. And just like-minded people that you ended up just crossing paths with and being able to build something. You know what I mean? This shit is dope. Like to see where it's gone, where it's gonna go, what we've done so far. Obviously, like starting from the ground up, anything is never easy. But sir,
Sure.
what's going on, man?
Chilling, man. Same old same, man. You know how it is.
Same old same, just working, right?
Always, man.
Yeah.
It's the name of the game.
You know how that is, bro.
Yeah.
You know how that
Yeah.
is, man. I'm just over here telling everybody that this thing started off as just like an idea. I remember the conversation that me and Guido had.
Mhm.
And he was like very big on yeah, I don't really like network. I'm like, bro, I mean, a network isn't bad as long as you have the right infrastructure and the things in place that can be able to push it forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, slowly but surely he came around to it. But it was just dope how it came around. Like I remember even before like we talked about it. Like I know you've been doing your thing with writing books and doing all, you got your podcast,
Yeah.
um, Query in Mind podcast. Please go check that out, fellas. Um, but the first person that came to my head was you. I was like, all right, I definitely need an editor in chief. Mel. I was like, Mel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it
That's
wasn't
funny.
even like a hesitation on my part. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like there were some other names that were floated, but like for some reason it didn't pan out because it had to be you, bro.
Mm.
It had to be you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the
Mm.
way things work. Like you know what I mean? Like certain there was some other guys that we had talked about because Mike had knew this other guy that we were doing business with, but
Right.
he kind of flaked out. But in my head, I was always like, yeah, Mel's my guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Mel's my, I need
Yeah.
Mel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, bro.
Hey, man.
But what are your thoughts on that though, man? Like, when the whole thing went down, you know, like what did you think about it?
Well, when you guys like started talking about the grid, I was like, that's an interesting concept because I
Yeah,
never like saw like a group of like podcasts all together on like one platform. I've always
right,
saw like people individually doing their stuff. So, then, once you started sharing that vision, I was like, oh, you know what? That does make sense.
yeah,
You collaborate with people, and it makes it a little bit easier because then people that may watch your stuff may watch someone else's podcast, and then it kind of branches out the way it needs
right,
to. So it was it was an interesting concept, and I gotta see where this goes. Like, let's
right,
see what happens. You know what I mean? So, um, It's worked out great though, you know?
Nah, it definitely has, man. We waiting for
Great.
old ass Mike Guido to jump in here.
Oh,
He can't use
he's already here.
he can't
He's
right,
in
but
here. You just gotta
he
add him.
can't use technology, man. Go update your app, bro. If you can't join, you need to go update your app, bro. Whatever
Nah,
Betamax you're using.
nah, he's got a request to join and then you add him. So request to join and then
Yeah,
do the request.
I had sent him the invite,
Oh,
but I guess yeah, I don't know. Like I said, he might have to update his phone. So check your update, Mike, and then come back. Um, but yeah, man, like I remember when I met Bryson, right? I
mm,
saw Bryson on I think it was Ryan Flowers' show. I think I was on
mm,
Clutch Sports Talk one day. I was like, yo, this dude is knowledgeable as fuck. Like he knows his shit.
yeah.
Right? So I reached out to him like, yo, bro, like, dope stuff. Like, anything I could be able to do to help, I'm here. Then I found out how old he was. I was like, get out of here, bro. Like,
Right. You were like,
I'm like, who is dumping
20.
all of this knowledge into
20?
your young ass, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Yeah.
it was crazy.
Hmm.
It was crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was dope how that came together. Me and him, we hit it all from day one, man. Um, shouts to Alfred. Like I said, Alfred's the crazy man. That's my boy. Um,
Hmm.
Shouts to Ryan Flowers. Like, you know what I mean? Like Ryan Flowers has put in a lot of work.
Man.
Um, being a part of the grid. So shouts to him. Here we go.
Hmm.
We got old ass Guido coming in here now. Yeah, I mean, shouts to him. You know,
Yep.
I don't know where I would be without you two guys. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Happening,
Mike,
gents.
what's going on, Mike?
Hey, Mel, how are you?
Good, man. You look like you haven't gotten sleep this weekend.
I haven't gotten
Like,
sleep in 2 months, my boy.
damn.
I got nothing. I have gotten no sleep. Barry knows that. I've gotten absolutely no sleep in like 2 months.
Listen, man, Thursday can't come soon enough, bro.
Thursday cannot come soon
Wait,
enough.
this Thursday? This Thursday?
This Thursday is my wedding day, so it's
My
eh,
man.
it's ay ay ay.
Why?
Look,
But
bro, look, I went
Finally.
to go get my suit altered today because I was swimming in that motherfucker. Like I
you
actually
were
Because
went there. I went to
you lost
the
weight. So
bro,
much weight.
I lost 30 pounds. I lost 30 pounds.
Damn.
So I
yeah,
go there and the lady, she's so nice, man. She was like, "Yo, bro, you're swimming in this suit. Like I literally have to like possibly make you a brand new suit because of how much weight you've lost." Like, bro, even the shirt that I got, like the white shirt,
yeah,
I had to toss it.
really.
I had to
Damn.
toss it. Yeah, it's too big. It's too big, bro.
Wow.
Listen, that's your fault for
Crazy.
going on that damn juice cleanse. All right, that's
I didn't
your
Look,
think
fault.
man,
I didn't think I lose 30 pounds. I mean, jeez.
I look much better now. Okay,
No, you do.
like yo, bro,
But jeez.
I was watching some of my old podcasts, bro. My face was like so fat. It's crazy. It's crazy. So this
Yeah.
is fun.
Th-
This mug right
Thank you,
here.
John. I appreciate that. I appreciate he
This
says
is
welcome
what
to
you
the
need.
club.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah. John been there. He been there for a while now, man. So
Yeah.
shout to
jeez.
John.
Mel, let me tell you something. So this dude he drives to my house on Saturday, right?
Yeah, and it took
Yeah,
like
he
8 hours to get there.
yeah, well, because he lives in the most crowded place in America, but um, he drives to my house and I open the door and I had only, the last time I saw him was probably 2 months earlier or something like that. So I opened the door and this dude's belly is like an ironing board. Like this dude's got no stomach. His face is thin. I'm like, yo, who is this dude? Who is this dude? Crazy.
I saw the difference in his podcast
Yeah.
Oh
as this
yeah,
stuff was going on. I was
yeah.
like,
Listen, those sunglasses are
yo,
starting to
why
look
this
big on your
dude?
face.
I was like,
Yo, bro,
like,
it's crazy. Like, yo, Chili, one of Chili's boys was watching the show, And he was like, bro, he said, your man's weight loss transformation is amazing. Yo, that
Oh
shit
my
was
God.
Oh man, dude.
shit, be
Yo.
crying. But nah, man, like, I was telling Mel, bro, like, how this whole thing started in regards to just like being a vision, a conversation that we
Yeah.
had. And you hear Roman in the background. But it was just crazy how everything just kind of came about. Like we talked about it, but then it got delayed because of
Yeah.
personal situations. Obviously, my mom got sick, and we had to. I was off the grid for quite a while, but
Yeah.
no pun intended. But
Right.
it's once that kind of happened, and there was some resolution there, then there was time to be able to like kind of dive into something to kind of occupy my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just went full mode into like, all right, cool. We have this idea. We need to sculpt it. We need to get it together. We need to figure out how we're going to like put everything in order. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Yeah.
everything came together. I mean, like, listen, shouts to your soon to be wife Paula. She helped us out with a great deal of stuff. Early on. Shouts
Yeah.
to Paula. I mean, it just came together, man. Like I just love the group of people that we have. You know what I mean? The group of people that we have are like really, really cool because I don't sense any ego from anybody. Like, you know what I mean? I remember reaching out to Ryan. Ryan was like, yeah, bro, like let's do it. Like Bryson, oh, he was gun ho about it from day one. Alfred, gun ho about it since day one. Patrick, gun ho about it since day one. Can fan guys, gun ho about it since day one. Um, and then, you kind of start to say, okay, have this, we have like these grandfathered in guys, but can we be able to add more?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know what the hell I was doing that day, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play A&R today. And I'm just gonna like surf podcasts and see what's out there, right? And I came across this dude, and I lie to you not, man. Like the first thing that I said to myself, I said, yo, this dude has so much fucking energy. Like, it's nuts, right? Like, he had a podcast, but it was like as soon as he said something, his energy just jumped off the page. And the person I'm speaking about is Devin, right? So I saw Devin, and I was like, man, Devin got it, bro. So I reached out to him. We had a great conversation and, you know, locked that in,
Yeah.
right? Then I met Eric and Jalen out in California doing the mixed martial arts stuff, the UFC stuff. I'm just like, these are young guys that, they just started their podcast, but you can tell that they have a passion for what they're doing, right? And that's the biggest thing with this is that, Mike, is that this particular business is a thankless job,
Yeah.
right? Like you work long hours, you don't get paid an exorbitant amount of money. Only a select few, a small percentage of guys get to be able to really like see the fruits of their labor in regards to like the 1%, right?
Yeah.
Like the Stephen A. Smiths are not common in regards to me being media personalities that can be able to make a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Like you got those guys that can be able to make a decent living, but that 1% is out there. So it was just amazing to just meet him and see how that transpired. And you know I spoke to you about it, and like you were pretty occupied with your job, right? Like
Yeah.
what you were doing. And me and Mel really had to kind of like step that up. And we filled it nicely. But we got some guys here, man, that just really want it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest thing for me is that I don't care, bro, if we had guys that had 2 views or 7,000 views or 700,000 views. That's not what I care about. I care about guys who are just passionate about what they want to do, because guess what? At the end of the day, if you're true to yourself and you're true to your brand and you work hard, people are going to find you. You know what I'm saying? If you continue to push yourself out there, people are going to find you. You know what I mean? You may not end up
you may not be Stephen A. Smith right now. That doesn't mean that you can't get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where, I just wanted to create a team of guys that were like-minded, thought the same way in regards to where they want to be, and also have the ability and the care and the concern to be able to help each other grow. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think that's the biggest thing about this network. Like Mel, he runs all the online stuff, keeps the website running, keeps everything updated. Like it's not an easy job that he has, but he does it, and he does it well, and he never complains, and he never says that this is too much, because obviously we all got our stuff to do, but we are manning the ship, and we're doing our jobs. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't be more proud, man, of everybody that's a part of this thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we just have a ton of room to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I am, I've always kind of considered myself in this business pretty fortunate, um, especially to have guys that have, taken the reins the way that you guys have in my so-called absence.
Yeah.
Right? Like my life was happening relatively quickly, and there was a lot of things that were changing in a lot of different ways. And like I said, I just turned 27 years old. So this is like the part of my life where everything around me is changing. Everything about myself is changing and everything like that. So my life has been relatively crazy over the past year. Pretty much ever since we launched, it has been
Right.
pretty hectic. So, and there was a really big part of me that felt bad about that, because we had kind of started this business, Barry, and I almost kind of left you hanging to run this stuff. And there was even a point early on where you were just like, "Hey, man, listen, you got to do something, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to kind of pull your weight in some sense." And it stuck with me, because I was thinking to myself, I'm just like, all right, I got to figure out ways to carry my own weight, which is, a little too much weight, but it's, it's weight. But Mel really stepped in and took a lot of the brunt. And the reality is that I'm unbelievably appreciative of both of you, just for steering the ship, keeping everything going, and doing as good of a job as you guys have done in the last year. Because I listen, even if the follower numbers for the grid itself are not jumping off the page in the first year, we've definitely had growth. And I think that the number of talented guys, even the most recent guys like Darian Hopkins, guys like Dalton Brown, I think are like, these are going to be more of the guys that are just going to catapult us forward. So I think this is the start of something really great. And, you said something early, Barry, that this really kind of started as a conversation. I mean, I met you, it had to be 5 or 6 years ago or something like that, right?
2019.
Yeah. So about 4 years ago, I met you, and, you and I hit it off relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And, became friends really quickly. And, we even tried hosting a little bit of a podcast together. That kind of died on the vine, but, hint, hint at something that might be coming in the future. But we kind of started this as a conversation where we're just like, you know what, we were doing All Even, we were doing the exclusives, we were doing the interviews and everything like that. And we really just kind of thought about this, just, like, why don't we just like take a shot at this? Why don't we just do this? You know what I mean? And we were just, we were sitting there, we sat there for hours on some Zoom call or something like that over the pandemic or whatever it was. And we were trying to think, man, we got to come up with a name for this thing. And we probably sat there for 2 hours trying to come up with some damn name for this network. But it was stuff like that where, we kind of just, kind of took it running. There was a little bit of a delay in the beginning, like you said, because, life was happening for a bunch of us. I know your life changed critically My
Yeah.
life changed in a big way also. So, you know, it was, I don't want to say a long time coming, but it was time to go. So once we got this thing moving, I think we've put together a pretty good product, and it's only due to get better.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man.
Yes.
Mel, what you got?
Well, I mean, I'm proud of everyone and all the work that everyone has been doing, has done. The growth is going to only continue the more we continue to push the envelope and see, how you guys can continually grow collectively as podcasters. You know, when I was doing this ages ago, um, I won't disclose my age, but let's just say in my
Old
early
enough, right
20s.
now?
Yeah, yeah. In my early 20s when I was doing this, the media space wasn't the way it is right now with the way podcasting is and, where, everyone is as far as social
Right.
media. I mean, you know, when I was younger, there was Facebook really in its beginning stages for the most part, and then Twitter kind of came along after that. And then there was YouTube where everybody was posting their videos and stuff like that, but YouTube wasn't at that place with all the advertising and all that stuff. So, you know, everything is just totally different now, and it's a big advantage in a lot of ways, for you guys to grow and to network and to meet people and things like that. And at some point, I know like the grid is going to get somewhere with some company that's going to want to take you guys on and want you guys to really grow and leverage yourselves. And this is different. This is a different space from a media standpoint, and it's a different way of doing things now. So this grid network is going to be huge, I think, as time, moves forward. And the additions of Dalton and Darian, like Mike said, it's going to be really, really, really great. It's going to be huge. Their knowledge and what they have and what they can add to the mix of, what you guys are doing, it's going to really be big. The 8 o'clock spot, I'm noticing is going to really be a staple for you guys. And I know that that's going to be a show that's going to, um, open people's eyes to what you guys are doing as far as a network. And that's a show that's going to garner a lot of attention. And the people that are on there rotating from, week to week, things like that, that's going to help them and going to allow them to, get more attention on their platforms and things of that nature. So that's going to be big. And then, your other stuff that you guys are working on, which I'm not saying on a live, but you guys know where I'm going with it. We've all talked about, what other stuff you guys are working on behind the scenes. And that's going to be also great too. So I just want you guys to continue to, work hard, keep pushing forward, and, know that I'm just, behind the scenes and I'll toss the ideas and give you guys the insight, but I know you guys are going to take off and running for this next year.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, man. It's just I don't know. It's very gratifying to see because I've always been one of those people. And Mel, you know this. Like, yeah, I'm a helper, right? It's a natural thing where I just want to help without anything in return. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
anybody can be able to attest to it. Any podcaster that I've reached out to, like, I've always said to myself, like, what's the sense of me holding all of this information when I can be able to help somebody? If it helps them more than it helps me, then what's the point of me holding that information? Like, I get a kick out of giving somebody some information that may not have helped me, but it may help them, and then see them take off because of it. It's like, yo, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that's like I think that's like the the foundation of the backbone of the grid is that not only are we building and we're creating these shows, but we're also developing developing guys along the way. Like, it's like, you know, I am not, and Mel, you're not, the same way. Mike, the same thing. Is like, we're not gonna turn people away just because they haven't been podcasting for a while. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no requirement. If you have talent, like, I can sense somebody's talent based on a conversation that I have with them, right? And or a segment that I hear. It may not be like a great put together segment, but there's something in there that you're like, oh, I like that. You can be able to work that and mold that and be able to steer them in the right direction. So, not only is the grid, guys that been doing it for a while, but we also want to be, kind of like a developmental system as well, where we can be able to allow guys to grow, be a part of a team, and see how other people are doing it, and be able to learn by osmosis as well as hands-on stuff, right? Mike, he has, he's implemented. We haven't implemented it as of yet, but we're going to do that in regards to like monthly coaching for the guys, right? So like, hearing all of their stuff and being able to give them constructive criticism, which is only going to help them improve going forward. Like, everybody thinks that they're always good, but you can always get better. You know what I'm saying? Your topic trees can always get better. That the way you jump in and out of segments, the way you create new segments, the way you captivate your audience, all of those things can be able to continue to improve. And, I think that in itself for us is just a great asset, a great foundation to be able to build on.
Yep. Yeah. I listen. We really have made it a point, like you said, to kind of stay committed to development and trying to find people's sweet spots because, truthfully, and even for some selfish reasons, right, it benefits us. Listen, the better and better that people get, the better for us, because the more people that consume their content, like you said, Mel, they'll go listen to Bryson. They'll go listen to Ryan Flowers. They'll go listen to the Can Fan guys. Like they'll listen to those guys because, if they've seen what kind of talent that this network can produce, part of which is the natural talent, and some of which is, the development along the way, the experience that they've had, as being a part of this and feeding off of the other guys that we have here, it just serves better for everybody. So that's a great point that you made. And like I said, I think a lot of the later additions are going to be really helpful. And, as time goes on, I'm sure there's going to be more guys that we're going to bring on here, and, that'll expand kind of our content pool. And there's just going to be more and more stuff to consume. If you're the listener, you're just going to have, eventually there's just going to be an endless amount of content that you're going to be able to bring in. So, listen, man, I'm excited for the future. This is a really, really special thing that I think we've got going on. And like I said, even if the follower growth is not immediate, I don't think that's what we ever expected. I think we always expected just to gather a great group of talent that can grow together and we can see the progress. And then eventually we would get to a point where we'd actually start seeing the follower numbers go up, the listenership go up, and all of that stuff. So, as long as we're continuing to put out content like this, listen, and we have a lot of different flavors, right? I love the fact that we do a lot of different types of shows and stuff like that, as far as live streaming, recorded coverage, I think is really important. Also, we're kind of dabbling now, especially with what Darian is starting to produce. We're starting to produce some sort of live game coverage now, which I think is really, really something great. Listen, all of the draft stuff, everything, I think we've done a really good job so far, just kind of encapsulating everything in such a short period of time and just finding ways to be able to do it. Right? We'll figure out all the technical shit later. Like we'll let's just get in there and let's just do it. So I love it. I'm really excited for this. And like I said, I think we've got listen, every time we promote this stuff, I always try to make a point to say, listen, this is the most talented group of guys that you can collect, right? Like all these places are just kind of picking people off the street and everything like that. Like all the guys that, graduated with master's degrees from some other broadcast that listen, we've just got guys that love sports. We just have guys that like to talk about stuff, that like to have fun. This is where I think talent really breeds. So, like I said, just a cheap little plug. If you haven't checked out the GRYD yet, you absolutely must, because this is the most personable group of guys and I've been in this business for, I don't want to say a long time. I'm still a young guy, but I've been in this business for almost 5 years, right? And I've worked at a bunch of different places. I've worked with a lot of different people. I've met a bunch of different people. And this group of guys is the most personable, ego-free, committed group that I've been a part of. It's really something great.
Yeah. The youngest guy on the grid has joined the live, sir. How you doing, Mr. Bryson Carver?
I'm doing well. It's great to be on here, fellas. Literally just finished the show and working on editing it and stuff. So yeah, very excited and yeah, kind of to echo what Mike said. It's great to be a part of a group with a lot of great guys. I think you kind of summed it up as simply as you can, in that we love sports, and I think that we have a deep love for sports. In that I think at least I hope through my show, and I know certainly it does through y'all's shows, it translates on camera through audio. And it's a real privilege to be a part of this network and to see the growth over the past year. I've had a blast, doing shows with all of you. I know with you, Mel, we did a college basketball March Madness prediction show. We'll definitely have to do something like that.
I love that. I love that show.
Yeah, it's great. Barry, you and I have done some stuff. I unfortunately lost a bet to you with the whole Lakers Warriors thing. That was not fun. And then Mike, our draft shows have been an absolute, especially me and you doing the NBA draft show was an absolute blast. You've crushed it. We've done, I think, 3 now.
Yeah.
Had a blast every single time. So, and everybody else at the network has been absolutely amazing. So, very, very privileged and very, very blessed to be able to be a part of this.
Now, question for you, Bryson. When I told you about the vision that I had, what was the idea or the thought process that you had in your mind?
I don't know if I had a specific, thought process, from the perspective of what I thought it was going to look like. I just know, I remember I think you texted me, this was a couple of years ago, and you said, hey, we're starting a network. And again, I was still relatively on the podcast space. I'm like, what the heck is a network? What's a podcast? What does that mean? And so, but after thinking about it, I'm like, what the heck? It's Barry's part of it. I knew Ryan was part of it, Mike. And so I was like, man, this sounds like a great idea. It sounds like something that we can, really build. And, since launching it last year, I think we have done that. I think we're going to continue to do that. And, yeah, no, I remember us a couple of summers ago, I was on vacation. We were doing Zoom meetings, brainstorming stuff to come up with, and to see that vision really could become a reality has been really, really awesome.
Yeah, man. It's the one thing that I want you guys to think about, right? The GRYD is 1 year. Would you like to know how many videos we've posted on YouTube?
What's that?
600. It's over 670 videos.
Wow. Guys are putting the work in. That's what we got here.
So that
almost 2 a day.
That goes to show you how much work is being put in.
Yeah.
In regards to content, consistency, passion. Guys are always available. If guys have to miss a day or a week or a few months due to whatever it is, there's always a line of communication that's open. This is something that I've always envisioned, because like I said, I come from a team background. If you have a strong team of people around you, you're going to be successful. There's not one person out there that has been successful in their life without a team of people, whether it be out in the open or silent partners that are helping them along the way. And this is why the GRYD is so important, because not only do I want everybody to grow individually, because that's my dream, to have somebody called Bryson a couple of years from now and say, hey, we'd like to sign you here. And then Bryson says, great. And then I get the conversation, or he calls Mike and says, hey, it's been real, but I gotta go. Right? Like that will be the greatest call of my life. Like, of course I'm gonna
Yep.
miss him. He's always gonna be a part of us, but
Absolutely.
that seeing him go somewhere else is gonna make me feel good. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
that's what this whole thing is about, is that yes, we're we have plans to grow and extend and be this big brand that we all want it to be. But at the same time, it's about, you know, building guys up and making sure
Yeah.
that they're ready for that call.
Right.
Right?
We want to lift each other up in that
Yeah,
sense.
That's
we
what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
want
Like
to
the
lift each other
community
up.
aspect of guys making everybody better, iron sharpening iron.
Yeah.
That kind of mindset. I think is
Yeah,
awesome.
like, you know, be ready for when that call comes. Hey, have you had an experience? Just go ahead and check my work. I've been a part of this network for X amount of time. Look how much videos and stuff I put out. Look how like, and now you're ready, right? So this is what the grid is about. Is not only that we're helping each other, we're propping each other up, we're picking each other up, but we're also building individuals and individual talent. I've seen growth from everybody on this network. Everyone. Parnell never had a podcast before. You know, he was doing YouTube videos of just like little snippets of certain things. Parnell now has a podcast for Commander's Demand, and he started his own sports PSP podcast where he has like 80 people on there talking about whatever the fuck he's talking about, right? But that was because he gained the confidence and the tools to be able to do that here.
Yep.
Right.
You
For
understand
sure.
what I'm saying? He didn't get that anywhere else. He got it here.
Yeah.
The same thing with Patrick. Like, Patrick was, you know, he was very early in his, like, the tools that he's learned. Alfred, like, everybody has. Devin. Devin tells me all the time how much he appreciates it. The fact that, you know, we've helped him so much and grow and given him a platform to be able to share his love for the Baltimore Ravens. That means a lot to me. For somebody that's always had a passion to cover his team, now he has a platform to do it, and we gave it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that's cool. That's cool.
That
You know
is.
what I mean?
No, it is. Like I said, everybody lifting each other up, and you know, throughout these, you know, as we have grown and evolved and developed as a network, like, you know, everybody brings a different skill. Like, just like a team, a football team, basketball
Yeah.
team, whatever. Everybody brings different skills and knowledge to the table. I know a lot of us here have learned a lot from, you know, like the CanFan guys, what they bring to the table, as well as everybody else. And so, like, again, sort of going back to that iron sharpens iron type of mindset, and that's, you know, with some, you know, what you're good at, Barry, and I'm not, you can help me, and vice versa, and that's what we've been able to do is a great community. It's like I said, I feel incredibly blessed and fortunate to be a part of it, and I'm beyond thrilled to see where we continue to go and progress.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Definitely.
There are 486 episodes on the grid.
Wow.
There you go. There you go.
And,
That's awesome.
well, Barry, you have 173 of them, and Bryson, you have 131 of them.
There you go. That's dope, man.
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot of content.
A lot of content.
That's
a
it.
lot of
Yeah.
a lot of great content.
Yeah. A lot of content,
Yeah.
man. So, like, you know, it's just more about continuing to grow, and, you know, we wanna branch out, and hopefully at some point we get some female talent on the grid. Like, I that's something that is needed, right? We need a couple of females to be able to balance out all of this testosterone that's here. You know what I'm saying? But
No doubt.
but you know, it's just like I said, man. You guys are a great group of guys, man. I don't have any issues with anybody on the network. You know, I remember I said to you, Bryce, early on, I said, listen, you know, friend Barry and Honcho Barry are two different guys, right? If you do what you need to do, you don't have to get that phone call from me. And to for anybody's, you know, to anybody's credit or everybody's credit, they haven't really had to have that phone call with me much, right? It's guys are doing what they have to do and they're sacrificing, they're changing their schedules, they're making time, they're jumping on additional shows, they're guest appearing on other shows. It's just I never envisioned it as good as it is right now, and I couldn't be more proud. You know what I'm saying?
It's been awesome for sure. I
we
love
just
being
we
part
just
of it.
gotta get Guido's podcast off the ground now.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come. It'll come. I promise. I'm telling you, man, like I said, my life has been relatively crazy over the past year. So I'm excited to get everything off the ground, because I miss it, man. I really do. I mean, I haven't had my podcast the way that I've wanted it in about probably 3.5 years. Like it's been a long time since I've had, a podcast by myself. Bryson, I'm not even sure I knew you by the time you were. I'm not even sure he's ever heard an episode of what my podcast used to be.
I have not.
But I'm excited to bring that forward. I expect that at that point, I will have virtually everybody that is on this network on as a guest on that podcast at some point. I'm still trying to figure out who I want as my second man or second woman if we find female talent like Barry's trying to get at. But it's gonna be a fun time. I think it's I'm looking forward to getting that off the ground and figuring out how exactly I want to do it and all that jazz. I mean, I had the most fun, in broadcasting while I was doing that. I mean, it was really something that I enjoyed genuinely. So, we'll see. Hopefully in the pipeline sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely, man. Everything comes with time, man. Like, there's a lot of disappointments that happen in our lives, that things happen and they don't go as planned. But my mother used to always have this saying, man. I used to call her like this old witch, because she used to say something and then it would come to fruition, right? And she would always say, every disappointment that you have in your life is for good.
Yeah.
Like, nothing that's disappointing is disappointing, and it's like it doesn't have a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you need to just kind of like see the bigger picture and understand that there's a lot of people that, don't go in the front door, they go in the back door. Pause. Right? Like it's
he's the worst person ever. He just is, man.
No,
Terrible.
No, I got neighbors here, and they're from New York, and we be talking and stuff like that, and we be saying pause, and people be looking at, and like other people in the group be looking at us like,
man,
why they keep saying that? But I'm like,
Mike, you gotta understand, Mike, I'm from Queens. I'm from Queens. All right, that's just the way it is.
You're right.
Head on over there and take a
No, it's in
bathroom
New
break,
York,
okay?
like we all say pause.
Yo,
listen, I just want to say something really, really quick, because I don't want to lose him. I want to make sure that he's still here. There's somebody watching this live right now who I respect in a lot of ways. His Instagram page is That Rock Jr. And he just commented with a bunch of the strong arms.
The strong arms,
but,
yeah, I just saw it.
Yeah, that's my old buddy Rene Canales. He's I used to work with him a number of years ago. I went to school with him.
Does he want to be a part of the live?
Listen, if he wants to, he's more than happy to. I know he found his way to being quite the prominent producer at ESPN not too long ago. If you ever watch Alan Hahn and Bart Scott, or listen to Alan Hahn and Bart Scott on ESPN, that right there is Lactavius, the guy that they call Lactavius. He's one of the best guys that I know in the business.
No.
And Renee, just know this too. You'll be hearing from me soon, because I want to catch up in a big way.
Yeah,
that's dope.
That's good.
Man, I mean, listen, it's good to have friends in high places and all over the place, right? Like, talent, when you work hard, people see that, and you know, people are always watching, man. Like you know, you're a talented dude. Everybody knows that. I remember the first time my mom heard your voice, she was like, "Who's this old man that's talking about sports?" And
Hey,
I'm just like, but she didn't say it in like a bad way. It was more like, you know, he has a really mature voice. And I told her his age. She was like, "The fuck out of here," like verbatim, right? I'm about verbatim, "The fuck out of here." So you know, it was just like talent. You have it, bro. It's just about, you know, putting it together and, you know, just, you know, my motto. Just
landing in
do
the
it.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, just
just do it.
landing in
Yeah.
the right space.
Like fuck all the preparation. Just put
Yeah,
the mic on, press
you're gonna
record,
land
and
where you're
go.
supposed to land.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You're gonna land where you're supposed to land, bro. It's just a matter of time.
Matter
It's
of
the same
time.
thing with this
Right.
network. You know,
Yep.
like I said, man, I could care less if there's 5 people that watch my show or 35,000 people that watch my show. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's more about getting the reps, getting, you know, getting good, understanding what you need to do. Taco touchdowns, I appreciate it. Appreciate
Yeah,
it
we
for the
appreciate you.
congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Definitely
Appreciate it.
appreciate you. And I'm saying it's just more about just building, man. Like, you know, there's, yeah, I'll share something personal with you guys is that, you know, sometimes, and I'm sure you guys have gone through it as creators, is that the frustration level gets you, right? There's
Yep.
times where, you know, I'll see somebody, you know, that's on a prominent network, and I'm like, I'm better than that dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm better than him. Like, and it's like, why am I here and he's over there? Or, you know, but you can't think like that, right? It's, first off, it's not a good way of thinking, and two, everybody has their own path, right? So just because that person has their path doesn't mean that my path is gonna be any less successful. It's just a different route, right? So, you know, it's the same thing with you, man. Like, you know, you know guys that are in the industry, you've rubbed shoulders with a lot of people. Everybody has their own path, man. You just gotta wait your turn. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You gotta wait your turn and just like put in the work and do what you gotta do, man. And you know, if you get on the 8 o'clock spot and have a chance of you know, catching my point total, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
I will catch you by year's end. I'm just telling you right now, man.
I'm
Once
smoking
once my
everybody's
wedding
boots.
day once my wedding day comes, man, it's all bets are
It's
off. I'm
on.
coming.
I'm
Right.
I'm
smoking
coming.
everybody's boots, man. Dalton smoked his boots last week.
Listen,
Okay,
all
I'm smoking boots.
I know. Well, listen. I'm just gonna say this, okay? Um, the fact that you are consistently beating Dalton just proves to me that the fix is in. Okay? There's no way that you're smarter than that dude.
You
There's
know,
no
you know,
way.
no, you see the shots that my friend will throw at me. Like, just
No way.
because I'm this villain doesn't mean that there's not supreme knowledge in this brain. Okay,
Yeah.
supreme knowledge.
Listen, I watch the 8 o'clock spot quite often, okay? And I'll just say this. I see Dalton whenever it's his turn to come up, and I know Dalton breaks the rules sometimes because he likes to insult
He,
Bryson
he
at certain
likes
points.
to throw shots.
He
Yeah,
does. He likes to throw shots. However, I will say this. Dalton comes out and throws this number at you. Oh, this guy's got 9.4 yards per play. This guy's
Yes.
got this and this and this and this and this. And
Yes.
then I see you and it's your turn to come up. And what do you say? Yeah, you know, it's Joe Burrow. He's a good quarterback. And I'm just like, yo, how is that? Like,
Mel, that is a shot. All right. If you listen to the last 8 o'clock spot, all I did was
I didn't.
bring facts.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
gotta go
brought
back.
facts.
I gotta go back and watch it.
Yo, I dropped
I didn't
some
watch. I didn't watch that
facts
one. I
on
didn't
that
watch that
show.
one.
Hey,
Okay.
listen, me and Dalton have a respect. Okay,